Okay, good evening everyone. Let's start off lying back on your bolster or whatever props you've got so that your arms can fall out wide, balls of your feet together. Lengthen your tailbone. See how that feels. And if it doesn't feel good in your body, adjust it. Maybe straightening your legs or maybe dropping the incline of your bolster or increasing it, and just see what feels good for your starting point. Gently increase the capacity of your breath. So your lungs expand out as if they're expanding into the whole skin and webbing of your body. And then catching any knots of tension, any blockages as you inhale, and when you exhale, dissolving that away, feeling a release. Nice deep breaths to free your body. To get the most out of our yin practice, we want to breathe in a way that assists our surrender, assists us to let go, and helps us step into a space of fuller capacity within ourselves. Eyes closed, mind gently following the breath, watching your breath. Feeling just like as you breathe to release knots of tension in your body, you're breathing to try and loosen off any knots of tension in your mind, any limited boundaries, anything that's been heavy on your mind, breathe to it. Imagine you're untethering it from its heaviness and let it float freely, lightly, almost dissolving into space. Super duper, bring your knees in together, nice and slowly. Everything, think of slow motion. And walk your feet a little wider so your knees rest on each other. Just for a few breaths, helping to bring a slight inward orientation to the femur at the hip joint. And then move your bolster off to the side. I'm going to keep something small for behind the head, just so that the head doesn't fall back uncomfortably. When you lie down, keep your feet wide on the mat. Rest your knees together again. Keep your left knee exactly where it is, and let your right knee drop in, turning onto the inside edge of your right foot. So kind of wriggling on the edge of the right foot to drop the right knee in. Pelvis remains reasonably level. Some of you might bring the right heel in a little higher. See what feels manageable. You could rest your left hand on your belly. Or both hands if you're not using your hands. Try and relax everything around the right hip joint and that whole surrounding space. If this is not comfortable on your knee, come back to the knock-kneed position and just let both legs drop towards the left. So same thing, but both legs dropping to the left. If that was a bit uncomfortable on your knee, that's a gentler option with the pelvis kind of turning a bit more. That's your softer, lighter option. Arms wherever you're comfortable. And we could try increasing the length we're creating inside by taking the arms up overhead a little. Or out wide if overhead isn't an option. Notice where you might be resisting. Breathe to the resistance you notice, mental or physical. Dissolve your resistance. Try pulling your right hip down toward the ground and your knee will start rising up. And then come back to a knock-kneed position, bringing your arms back down if they were overhead. Pause a moment and notice there's a lot more sensation, even maybe the feeling of like flowing through your right leg. So from this knock-kneed position, now start to drop the left knee in. So first of all, it just dropped down the inside of your right leg toward the inner right ankle. And that might be where you stay. Or you could start to bring your heel up a little higher so you get more reach down the front of your thigh. It starts to open up into the passages of elimination in the abdomen, so the small intestine, but particularly the large intestine. That right side is your ascending colon and the left side your descending colon. So depending on where your last meal is sitting, you might be helping to shift its passageway down through the colon or through the colon. Again, with your eyes closed, just letting your eyeballs drop deep away from the lids as an invitation for your mind to drop away from the surface of thinking, to experience stepping back and feeling vastness of opportunity and space around you, rather than feeling like you are tangled up in the process of everything that goes on, all you're doing. Step back from having to do anything. Pause in this position. If you want to take it a little further, your arms can go higher or overhead. Relax your resistance. Long exhales. Start to draw the back of your left hip down toward the floor so that the knee gently rises. Bringing your arms down and resting in the knock-kneed position again, where your feet are level, hips are level. This really connects the energy flow between your lower torso, the pelvic abdominal region, and your legs. This is our grounding structure. Our energy that gives us stability, a feeling of safety, moving us away from fear. If you just move your bottom about an inch off to the right, straighten the left leg, and bring your right knee to your left hand. Right knee to left hand, and take the knee across to the left. As you roll onto the edge of your left hip, try and keep your chest facing the ceiling, so adjust the back of your shoulders on the floor so that the back of the chest feels wide, front of the chest is wide. And then maybe just turn your gaze slightly toward the right arm, extending the right arm out. If it's not comfortable with the knee hovering or as far as the floor, pop a block under. What I'm doing, and that feels a nice support. The great thing about yin yoga is we release, so we get props in to give us support so that we don't have to try and hold with the muscles. Any muscular effort, try and undo your conscious muscular effort. Obviously, there are muscles working within us all the time, but they're not the conscious action of moving our muscles or engaging our muscles. So just relax and undo any effort. For the last minute, remember that we want to also feel that we're in a deep version of whatever posture we're coming into. So move any props out once you feel like they're stopping you from going in a bit further if you could. So you're always moving in towards what we call the edge, the point where it's a sustainable, gentle discomfort. So it's a comfortable discomfort, you could think of it as, where you can feel there's a little stretch reaching beyond your usual range of movement, but it's not causing pain, or it's not causing you to feel like you can barely breathe because there's too much effort. Relax. Few more breaths, relaxing the top hip buttock and relaxing the bottom leg, hip and buttock. Help that leg back up, using your hand to push it up. Once the foot lands on the floor, bend the other leg as well, and move your bottom back to the middle for a moment in your knock-kneed position. Hands rest on your belly and pause. Notice where you feel the release of that posture. For me, I can feel the whole outer band of my hip, maybe going slightly round into the lower back. There's a warmth, almost like there's warm water trickling over, or like a like a warm, waxy feel to the outer leg. Just notice how it feels. Move your bottom slightly off to the left, right leg out straight. And then bringing your right hand and your left knee together. As you take your twist, the knee goes over to the right, guide it with your hand, maybe resting it on a block or bolster. Adjusting the back of your shoulders and the skin of your back. Then maybe trying to take your gaze over to your left arm. And feel this confidence that the ground and your props have got you. So you don't need your muscles to kind of pull and hold you in shape. Relax them and surrender the weight of your bones inside your body. Surrender the effort of your muscles holding the bone. Soften like a wave across your skin. Feel the vastness in the space of your mind. Last 30 seconds or so, if you want to go in a bit deeper, remember just to keep following in line with the edge of the pose. And then guide the leg back up, feet both flat to the floor. Move your bottom back to the middle, knees rest, and hands rest. And relax. We're now coming up to sitting, so you could turn over to your side and come up, or if it's really easy for you, then you can just come up on your back. Before we take a longer held forward bend, first of all, just either cross your right leg over straight, so right leg over left. If you can, those whose knees feel okay and hips are open enough, cross the right leg over so that the foot comes towards your left hip and the left leg is underneath. And just put your fingers behind and just bow a little forwards towards your left foot and take 10 very small little bouncy bows. So just like you're just very slightly bouncing, not to the edge, but just in that comfortable range, just to feel there's a gentle nudge in the back of the leg. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up. And then release your right leg. This time cross the left leg over. Or for those who can, bring the left heel up towards your right hip, so the knee is pointing down toward the right foot. And again, hands behind and just taking a very small, bouncy forward bend. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Just nudging against your elasticity rather than forcing it. 2, 1, and then coming up, releasing the top leg. Now both legs are straight out in front. Just reset your sit bones level on the floor. 10 little bounces forwards towards both feet. You can keep your hands behind, or if you're a bit more flexible, hands forwards. Try not to round the back. Feel like your pulse forwards being pressed from your lower back. It's like the back of the waist is just nudging you forwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come up. And if you feel a lot of resistance in that, then you can take your bolster, pop it on the legs, and just rest forwards on your bolster, using it as a prop to lean forwards. What you can also do is put the bolster under the back of the knees as you bend forwards. Or you just go forwards over the legs. Try not to pull on your legs to get there. I'm using the bolster still just to use it further down, resting my head there so there's no neck strain. Again, play around with whatever you've got at home. Maybe introducing a little bit of creativity into your supports. Settle in there. We're going to be here for a few minutes. Breathe across your back and feel if you ever move further forwards, try and do so from the lower back rather than your upper back pushing you further in. The lower back sinks further forwards, the belly closer to your thighs. The upper back follows, but the lower back leads. We've got 1 more minute here. For anyone that 3 minutes is enough and you need to come out of it, then you could lay down on your back with your hips elevated on a block or bolster. So you're almost like doing a full body stretch with the hips elevated. Otherwise, staying here for the last minute. Great, and then make your way up. And then we're all going to come into that elevated hip position just for about 30 seconds. So come down onto your back. You can use a bolster or a block. Once you're there on your back, Lift the hips so you can roll a bolster or block under your bottom. Make sure it's level, then straighten out your legs. Arms loosely overhead. The front of your hips open. Exhale, dropping the sides of your waist, dropping the front of your abdomen. Dropping away from the surface. Bending your legs so that you can just push the bolster underneath the back of your knees. So once your bottom has landed on the floor and the back of the knees are supported, if you've got something to put there, don't worry if you haven't. Then lie down and relax. If your legs are flat on the floor, you might just give your knees a gentle hug to your chest first to help lengthen out the lower back. Watch out for the head falling back. Even though deeply rested, feel the alertness, the aliveness within you. Like every part of you inside has been polished. And there's more space in which to shine. Breathe along with that inner vitality. Take a deep breath in. And a long breath out. Bringing your feet in flat onto your bolster or the floor and pushing that away as you turn to your side. When you're up to sitting, palms together. Bowing your head to that bright light within, the purest of your consciousness, the good within you. As you bow, namaste, acknowledging that in each person you meet and all those who've practiced this evening. Thank you, namaste. So that is the last